Everyone. I am live and I'm just going to continue doing what I was doing. So, as you see, what I've got here is a would be black that I created out of my regular red, yellow, and blue. I put it where the blue was. And what I'm doing with this underpainting right now is I'm going to focus on value rather than hue. So this is a my original that I'm looking at. My reference is not a color photo. Therefore, I'm going to try to match value rather than hue in this painting. And so we pretty much set down a lot of the darker things. And by the way, I think I got her hand way, 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 way too low. So that might be something we want to change as we go. But in any event, I want to start putting in some highlights. So we're basically doing a black and white type thing, but we'll have all sorts of shades in between. So I'm going to have my glasses on for a minute so that I can see this a little bit better. See my reference. And I think that she has, quite a bit of light over here. I actually gave her more of a forehead than you would think. So we're just going to go in here with the highlights, and I think I want her hand to be in a little bit of a higher position. Here. So under this, she's got this area in the chin. It's quite a bit lighter. So it's almost as if we're trying to be colorblind here and just be interested in the values. I'd say that this area here is extremely light, even more so than the areas of the face that are somewhat light. This is Aunt Eva that we are attempting to paint here using values only and not hue. Aunt Eva was supposedly a blonde, probably a dirty blonde, but my grandmother had darker hair and she had lighter hair. And when I used to watch black and white television, I used to be able to tell who was a blonde and who was a redhead, and I could do it even though there were no colors. There was no hue, but you can just sort of tell, even in black and white, just by the values, who is more nearly a blonde and who is more nearly a brunette or dark. So I want to see if I can create this effect here as well, where you're going to be able to tell that my great aunt Eva was more nearly a blonde, and that my grandmother was more nearly a brunette or darker. Okay, so there's an area of light over here, um, over there, and then there's a lot of kind of shadow here, but this shadow isn't necessarily as pronounced as some of the other shadows. So what we want to do when we're focusing on value is light and dark and all sorts of midtones, which are not the darkest dark nor the lightest light as we see in reality, even when we don't have the distinction of colors. Okay, I think I kind of made that too big. All right, so let's just say, okay, that was a mistake. Let's do this. And I don't want to really mess up the original. Actually, it's just a photocopy and not the original um, print of the photograph. Now, all three of these people in this painting are not alive any longer. They are mere memories that we're trying to remember. Okay, so this is her arm here, and it's got some lighter bits at various spots, although I'm not too clear exactly how. It's got dark bits and light bits. Okay, I'm gonna leave Aunt Eva alone for a while, except for maybe the fact that her lower lip should be lighter than the upper lip, somewhat. Okay. Okay. Maybe get back to this a little bit more later. I think, yeah. Do you get the feeling? All right, and maybe over here we need sort of an intermediate color of and maybe over here you just kind of need her hair to flow like this. All right. Now let's go on to another color. So she's got much darker hair. In those days, it was considered cool to have short hair. She was born in 1908, and in this picture, it might be late 20s, early 30s. See if I can get her nose a little bit better. She's got much fuller underlip, so I just want to get it like that. She's got much rounder eyes, rounder, bigger eyes. She's got this groove underneath her mouth, and then her chin comes out at us like that. She's got this kind of, I don't know really how to explain it, but okay. Now we're going to use sort of intermediate things. She does have her eyes are kind of set. Her eyebrows are like this. She's got a kind of heroic, strong face. A lot of light here. She's got this, I guess both of them have this kind of sort of a sailor's bow. Okay, so you have to understand over here. Okay, she's got very, very dark. So what you see I'm doing is I don't really care what the colors are in terms of the hue. What I care about right now is whether it's light or dark or intermediate light or dark, because obviously there are different shades of everything. And that's what we're working on here. This is uh, Great Aunt Eva. This is Grandmother Klara. Um, we're going to see if we can get two. great uncle Salek over here in just a minute once we finish with the light and the dark. And I think this series of different kinds of family paintings that I'm doing is going to be beneficial in more than one way. It's going to help to highlight how exactly we make a drawing using paint, because that's all we're really doing at this point is we're drawing with paint. So this is a little younger boy. His name is Sally. He will study chemistry, come down with leukemia, and never make it out of World War II. Um, he's got some family traits, so I kind of recognize some things about my own father from the way he looks. I think we have people in the younger generation that look a little bit like that. The generation after me. Um, okay, but since I don't really know him, I think painting him is going to be the hardest because I do know Aunt Eva. I did meet her. I do know her character and everything. And of course, I know my grandmother. But Salak is not somebody I really know. I've never met him. And he's got a lot of different shades to him here. Just feel like that. A little part in her hair. And all sorts of little sparkly bits here. We need to find a way to incorporate here. I don't know if that's right. Okay, so he's mostly on this side. Okay. So anyway, we now have a bit of something going on here. We'll look at it. This is what it looks like. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to let it dry. Eventually, when I think that I have the values right, I may decide that I want to use. But right now, this is where we are. So thank you for watching, and we will continue at a later date or time.